Welcome back to Circle Club Entertainment for another diecast review here on the channel. We have some 2024 diecasts that I want to review on this channel, and one of them is a car that I've held on to for quite a while. I was supposed to release a video on this car quite a long time ago, but then there was a huge drought of diecast content on my channel as far as deciding what to do with this type of content, considering that I have slowed down my diecast collecting significantly as of recent and haven't really had as many cars to review as a result. But there are definitely a few diecasts that I do want to take a look at, and I want to make sure we get some of those reviews here on the channel. Here is Kyle Larson and his 2024 Coca-Cola 600 HendrickCars.com Chevrolet Camaro ZL1 for Hendrick Motorsports. Of course, this is a car that he was racing the Indy 500 and the Coca-Cola 600 both on the same Memorial Day weekend. Of course, it becomes weather affected, and Kyle Larson finishes only the Indy 500, and Justin Allgaier ends up running most of the Coca-Cola 600, actually every lap that was running the Coca-Cola 600, because when the rain came out and they weren't able to go back green, they called the race. Christopher Bell won. Kyle Larson was not able to turn this car for a single lap in that Coca-Cola 600. So definitely a letdown for Hendrick Motorsports, Larson, Arrow McLaren, and his fans. But nonetheless, the diecast has been out for months and months and months. They released this months in advance before this car actually ended up on the racetrack. But here it is in the diecast review studio with a specialized box. Of course, you have the H1100 Kyle Larson. Of course, Kyle Larson number 5 NASCAR Cup Series. So it's a specialized box to match the scheme, which really doesn't happen all that often, but it's at least nice to see it on this diecast here in particular. But without further ado, it's time to get this diecast out of the box and ready to be reviewed here on Circle Club. Alright folks, brand new out of the box, here it is, Kyle Larson and his Coca-Cola 600 paint scheme, or intended Coca-Cola 600 paint scheme, because he was actually going to race this car and it didn't happen. Justin Allgaier ended up driving it, so I guess you could say Justin Allgaier and his HendrickCars.com, but we're going to still refer to it as a Larson diecast because that's what it was intended to be. So here it is out of the box, and first impressions, I really like this paint scheme a lot for the Hendrick Cars brand. I'm a huge fan of just the color arrangement. The blue is still on there, it looks great, and it's a really big deviation from the Ricky Hendrick design, which is always super iconic, but for some reason I just prefer this. I really do wish that they ran this as the primary car, except for the one Coke 600 race, they could, instead of painting the papaya orange, I believe that's what that is, the McLaren orange, they could run the red instead of the orange, and then there you would have a primary new Kyle Larson 2024 paint scheme. I actually really do want to see this car become the primary. I believe it could happen, but that other paint scheme is so iconic that that might not be a possibility, but it's just an idea. But nonetheless, really cool looking paint scheme that I'm super excited to finally review. So let's get into this diecast. You have number 5, you have Hendrick Motorsports, you have the Chevrolet Camaro ZL1 decal printing, you have Sunoco, you have HendrickCars.com ZL1, the hood vents, got the gold Chevrolet bow tie right there. You have Larson. Then you have Goodyear in blue, and on the wheels they are yellow Goodyears. You have NASCAR Cup Series number 5. You have Kyle Larson, Chevrolet, Exalta, Cincinnati, Klein, Freightliner, Mack Tools, and Siemens. You have HendrickCars.com right there. Let's get a closer look at this really nice looking livery. I'm a huge fan of this, and it's really cool that I actually got to see this at the North Carolina Auto Show in person. Like, I got full real life angles of this car, and then of course seeing it in the race itself, always really cool. The HendrickCars.com placement looks super good with the new number placement. Then you have Valvoline, and fun fact, this is before they stopped using the retro Valvoline. They changed it back to the newer logo, but so I guess you could say that's sort of different. By the way, there's no Coca-Cola 600 wheels or window banner because this was before they released this, way before they knew whose name was going to be on the car. So I guess you could say this could be used as a primary if you have a diecast series. You have Chevrolet, ValvolineHendrickCars.com, number 5. You have Camaro, ZL1, Chevrolet, and then what is that? A weird old decal just came off the taillight right there. Got a paint chip that will definitely not come off of the car, here and here. You have HendrickCars.com, Larson, Arrow McLaren, and H1100, Kyle Larson. Then you have number 5 on the top right there. So that is going to be your sponsor placement and your decal placements. Now it's time for the paint scheme itself. For the paint scheme itself, you're going to start out with the iconic HendrickCars.com blue, the Hendrick blue that it usually has. You're going to have your dark gray rims, which looks super good. Your black spoiler, your black roof rails, and your black splitter out front. And now, starting towards the front, you're going to have it in white, kind of like a white background to it, but you also have your blue and orange striping. Of course, the orange is in the middle of the OEM details right there, and the blue is going to kind of wrap around the headlights. Kind of looks like your eyeliner, like your face mask style design. You're going to also have around the lower quarter OEM details right there. You're going to have 2 more blue pieces of detailing, striping, which looks super sharp, makes it look really aggressive looking. And the hood is just going to be blue. The white just kind of perfectly wraps around the shape of the hood right here, which is nice. And then it's going to wrap onto the side, and it's going to have a really nice sharp little point right there, and then eventually swoop back in. So it could be all white right here for the number 5 to be at. Then you're going to have another white stripe continue across the side and swoop up towards the back. And you're going to have some of the McLaren orange thin right there. And then it starts to get more thick towards the back and kind of be underneath the Camaro logo. Then you're going to have some of the detailing by the rear quarter windows right there. You got the white outline and the orange fill-in for those style stripes. Plain on the deck lid, plain on the roof. Just the little bit of the corners are filled in with that coloring from the rear quarter window pieces. The numbers themselves, they're going to have the McLaren orange outline, the white number fill-in on the top and on the back, and then for the front and then the sides, you're going to have the McLaren orange with the Hendrick blue for the number fill-in, which looks super good. Really cool to have different number colors on each of the sides of the car. It's pretty clean. And yeah, that's pretty much the paint scheme. To me, this really feels like a modernized version of that Hendrick Cars livery. Like I'm saying, this would be a really good primary car for Larson. I really like the looks of it, and I'm sure the Larson fans would love to have this diecast. I'm sure a lot of them have it. This thing was released pretty early on its own like this in a single pack. Then they had it in a double pack with the IndyCar diecast. And then, who knows, it might end up in the Authentics, and they might re-release it again, maybe a more accurate version with, what are they calling it, the qualifying pack. They could do a 1/64 of that and then give us the banner and the windshield, or the windshield printing, the banner, and then the wheels with the honor and remember stickers and all that stuff. But for now, this is a version we have, so I'm going to give you guys a 360 view of it, which is obviously going to be a cool part of the video, because this is the part of the video for you newer viewers where we just get close-ups of the details of the diecast. So here we are. Here's your 360 view. Here's the front of the car. Here's the hood with the HendrickCars.com. Here's the right side. Here's the back. Here's the deck lid. Here's the roof and the top profile of this car. Here's the left side and the under tray of this 2024 Chevrolet Camaro. And that is gonna do it, folks. That has been the review of Kyle Larson and his 2024 Coca-Cola 600 double car. Of course, it was gonna be the double, but then again, the weather affected it. Final thoughts on this car. I really like the paint scheme. It's a really good, I think it's a good look for the brand. It's a really awesome looking car that it was really awesome to see it at the Coca-Cola 600 in person, and then of course seeing it at the auto show. I always thought this paint scheme, for being a more modernized look, I wasn't expecting another Hendrick Cars livery to look better than the standard one, the Ricky Hendrick design. But then this thing came around and I was like, wow, this thing really looks good. And for some reason I thought this was going to be the primary, but then it ended up just being for the Coke 600. But regardless, it's still a really, really good looking car that I highly recommend you pick up if you're a Hendrick fan. So that is going to be the review. Of course, let's not forget the biofuel logo. If you'll see the community post, there'll be a car that has an error regarding that. So we'll have you guys find that out. But thank you all for checking out this Diecast review. Comment, like, and subscribe, and we will see you guys in the next Diecast review. We got a handful of other cars here to review. We got 3 Chase Elliott's, a Chris Buescher, and then, of course, a 2-pack, which is really going to be fun to look at when that time comes around. So always remember to make sure you know what you're doing when you're putting decals on your diecasts.